Your 20s can be some of the best years of your life. Maybe you graduate college, you get your first high paying jobs, you don't really have that many responsibilities yet, or for me, the highlight was discovering pour over coffee. But there's also a few common mistakes that most people make in their 20s that can really mess up your life and hold you back for years or even decades. So I picked some of the biggest ones that I've either made myself or I've seen a lot of other people make, and that's what I'm sharing in this video. But first, I am super excited about this. This is actually my first collaboration that I have ever done. We are collaborating today with Ashlyn Eaton. She is a fellow YouTuber, and Ashlyn creates content about simple and intentional living and helps people discover how life can be better when you slow down and begin to live more intentionally. Now, despite the fact that she's in the tea drinking camp, she does make some great content that I think you guys will really enjoy, and she's also making another list of different things, different mistakes that people make in their 20s. So if you guys want to check that out after this video, I'll put a link down in the description. You can go check that out, give it a like, tell her that I sent you, and go Team Coffee. Going to school just because. The average student loan debt is around $32,000, and about 50% of college graduates thought that the degree was not worth the amount of debt they accumulated for it. I personally know people with over $100,000 in student loan debt, and they're going to be paying that off probably for most of the rest of their lives, definitely into their 30s or 40s. So while there's definitely something to be said for college, if you don't know what you're gonna go for and you're just going for the sake of going because maybe your friends are going or your parents think you should go or it's just what everybody else is doing, I think that can definitely be a mistake. So instead of that, I went a little bit of a different path and I worked as much as I could for those years and earned money and started investing that money, and that's what really changed my life. So I think that's a different path that people should definitely consider. Maybe taking that time to start a business or to try a few other things instead of getting into debt for a lot of the times a degree that you don't use. So I think there's definitely something to be said for considering other options. Buying too much car. A lot of people look at a car as you can afford a payment. Maybe you can afford $300 a month or $500 a month or $200 a month. But I tend to look at it a little bit differently. If you're making $30,000 to $50,000 a year, you probably shouldn't be spending an entire year's salary on a car. Like most new cars are around $30,000. Maybe you can get one cheaper, but really reconsidering that and being okay with having a little bit of an older, junkier, maybe 10-year-old car that's maybe a Honda Civic or something that's really cheap, easy to fix. It's not really flashy. You're not going to be impressing people, but it's going to be much more efficient and cost effective. For me, I do something that I've called car hacking. I don't know what the name for it is, if there is one, but pretty much I just buy like a 10-year-old car that's going to be a good solid car and hold its value. I pay cash for it and I buy it privately, and then I drive it for like 2 to 4 years and I sell it usually for almost exactly what I paid for it. So that's kind of my way of having an initial investment, and then you just keep flipping it and you have like free cars for the rest of your life if you're okay with flipping cars. Trying to impress people. I've had times where I've bought new clothes that I thought, looks cool, or expensive shoes, or, maybe it's a newer phone just because you have the newest thing, and it's just trying to keep up with everybody else around you, and everybody's being consumeristic and you're trying to do it, you're trying to show off, whether it's that car or it's buying the newest phone or just going out with your friends all the time and spending, $50 every night on drinks. Those things in your 20s can make huge impacts if you're taking that money away from your investing and you're just spending it on stuff that really makes zero difference. So I've kind of gotten to the point where I don't buy anything for anybody besides myself. I get a Google Pixel for like $300 that's gonna last a couple of years. I use it till it drops instead of getting, a $1,200 iPhone. That's what's right for me, is to spend a lot less and pretty much have about the same quality. And I never worry about having expensive cool shoes or expensive cool clothes or like what my car is. It's just what's gonna be right for me and not really caring what anybody else is doing. Not making a budget. I think a lot of us never really think about money until things get really bad. You're like, all right, well, now I'm in debt. I can't afford to pay my bills. Like, I've got all these responsibilities. I'm stuck at my job. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Maybe I should start a budget. I think it's important to just do that earlier, and it doesn't have to be some crazy spreadsheets, budgets aren't all that fun, but just taking a few minutes every month to kind of look at how much is coming in, how much is going out, where is it going? Is it going to wants? Is it going to needs? Is it going to like stuff that you forgot that you spent money on because it's completely worthless? And really being honest with yourself and evaluating that and asking, is that going to help you get closer to your goals of, you know, whatever those are? Do you want to be stressed the rest of your life? And starting early and making sure that you're putting money towards savings or towards investing can cause you a lot less stress over the rest of your life, because sometimes when you have all those payments that really added up and you weren't really paying attention, but now you have all this debt and this crazy stuff, it can take years to get back to square one. So if you just are really conscious about your spending from the beginning, it can save you a lot of headache. Not taking risks. One of the advantages of being young and not having any responsibilities really yet is you can take risks. Like if you can take a year or 2 years and try to start a business or move to a different place and travel, or like try to start a YouTube channel like I did. And then what's the absolute worst that's gonna happen is maybe you wasted 6 months or a year trying to start this thing, you gained a lot of experience, but it didn't work out. And you're back to square one with everybody else exactly where you would have been before. As opposed to maybe when you're in your 30s and you have a family and you have a house and you have a car, and now you don't have the ability to, you know, work nights and weekends trying to start this business and create that dream life. So I think especially when you're in your early 20s is a great time to maybe invest a little riskier, you know, and try to really go for it and make something happen. So whether that's starting a business or investing in the stock market or buying real estate, just trying to go for that big thing while you still have the chance before you're tied down with a bunch of stuff. Not having a growth mindset. This has been completely life-changing for me, is really developing a growth mindset. Most people, once they finish college or even high school, never read like really any other educational books. Maybe they read some fiction or one book here or there that's a little bit of a self-help book. But for me, I think it's really important to look at every day as like, can I learn at least one new thing today? And even taking a couple months or even a couple of years like I did and just really nerding out on one subject. For me, that was nerding out about finances, reading like literally every book I could find on it, listening to podcasts, watching YouTube videos, just really diving into it and understanding that. And as I look back, learning a few different things along the way completely changed the trajectory of my life. And if I had never taken that time to have that growth mindset and really dive into those subjects, I never would have had the opportunities that I've had in my life. Overspending on housing. Housing is usually the biggest part of your budget, followed by transportation and food. It's really tempting once you get your first like real paying job to go out and spend money. You see maybe your parents had a nice house and now you want to have a nice house, and you kind of want to jump that first step and get ahead to where you see everybody else is. This is usually the biggest decision and the biggest part of pretty much everybody's budget for the rest of their lives. So for me, it was super important to get that down as much as possible. Whether that's renting or buying something that's small, it's just what you need. It's not, you know, a step ahead. You can always progress later on. And then saving all that extra money and really trying to invest it and letting that investment start as soon as possible so that it can snowball later in life and make the whole rest of your life way easier. For me, I did something called house hacking. I bought a multifamily with a 3.5% down loan for first-time home buyers, lived in one unit, rented the other two out. I was able to live completely for free and then do the whole process again, which is where I am now, and live here for free and start making passive income from the other one. And then we're going to be doing that again in the next few months. And each time we're moving to a better and better location that is still for free while making passive income. So I think that's a really important thing, that if you can do that early on in your life, like your life will just be really set. It just makes things so much easier when you don't have huge housing payments every month. So I hope this helps some people out. If you guys enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe. And thank you again to Ashlyn for collaborating with me. Go check out her stuff, guys. She has another part to this video. She has a great video on like 10 minimalist habits. Garbage truck is going by. I'm back. So she has a couple of videos that I think you guys will really like. She's got a minimalist habits video, a minimalist morning routine video, which is really nice. So yeah, go over, check out her channel, tell her that I sent you. Go Team Coffee, and I'll see you guys next week. We missed it.